Hey, Shalawam, Shalawam. I'm going to start by first giving all praises, honor, and glory be to the Heavenly Father and His Son, Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Wakakwadash, and double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone, which rule well and teach well, and sincerity taught us His truth. Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect, all right, that rule well and teach well, that's out there pushing and preaching, doing what they're supposed to do, man. It's your brother Yerami Kazak back with hopefully another edifying lesson through the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi, Makakadash. All right, we're going to get into this one. This one brought to you in the spirit, power, and strength of Yahawah Bahasham, Yahawashi, as always. We're going to get into this one. Let's just jump straight into it. All right, about really preparing yourself before you go to sleep. All right, because it's major. You may not think it's major, but it's important to cut off the screens at least an hour before. If you want to do more than that, that's better. But and really getting in that habitation of sleep. Okay, so let's jump into this. And fair use, fair use.
The ancient Taoists called it sealing the 5 gates before sleep. The Egyptians called it the rite of the evening Ka. In both traditions, the core practice is identical, and it takes less than 15 minutes. The habit has 3 parts. Part 1, the seal. 5 minutes. 60 minutes before you intend to sleep, you close the inputs. Screens off, not dimmed, off. Every device goes face down or into another room. This is non-negotiable. If you think you can do this practice while checking just one more message, you cannot. The practice requires darkness to approach you gradually, like a tide coming in. Screens are walls against that tide.
Now, what is adding to is what is self-control, man. That's what it's getting to. Self-control, having a balance. Okay, let's get a precept. This is Proverbs 11:1. A false balance is abomination to Yahawah, but a just weight is his delight. This society has been fed screens upon screens upon screens upon screens every single day of your life. And that's not healthy for you. You got to get away. Man, like go camping, man. Drop your phones. Put the screens down. The screens are terrible for you. They're destroying your body. Now we understand we use them. We do our lessons. We study. We do all of that. But you got to have a balance. You can't just constantly be on your phone 24/7 like these little teenagers. So you have a balance, and that trickles down to your household, right? So you should have. I tell my kids, no iPad, no phone after 10. You getting ready to go to bed, going to bed about 11 or whatever, right? Or whatever time, just no screen time before, an hour before you go to bed, right? Is pushing a balance in the home. So, and watching this, I'm like, okay, yeah, I've been doing this, etc., etc. But there's more to it. So let's keep it going.
Then you sit on the edge of your bed or in a chair, spine straight, not rigid, just upright, and you do one thing. You place both hands on your lower abdomen, about 2 inches below the navel. The Taoists called this point the Dan Tien, the elixir field. In the Egyptian tradition, the lower abdomen was also considered the seat of life force. Different cultures, different centuries, but all pointing to the same spot. This is where sexual energy is stored in its raw form.
Now this kind of goes into like chakras and all of that, and those things are real, right? We really don't touch them like that. Right? The body has a system that is set up, you know what I'm saying, in a way, and it's really complex how Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi did it. But we bring things to a simple plain upon tables, as the scripture states. So I don't really do all of this, but the point being is prayer. Okay, now prayer which in that form, I guess I do it because, hey, I get down, on my knees and close my eyes in darkness and I pray, all right, for at least 5 minutes or more, okay? Or however, whatever the Spirit is putting on me. It might not be 5 minutes. It might be a minute or two or three, or just going through and thanking the Most High, all right? And then always asking for Him to keep the Spirit and keep His presence with me. You know what I'm saying? And you doing these things constantly. Let's get a precept upon that. All right. What I pray, I make prayer. What is it, 7 times a day? I know it's in Psalms. I'm trying to find it. Give me 1 second. Right here. Praise. And that's the same as prayer. 7 times a day do I praise thee because of thy righteous judgments. Now, 7, equaling completion. So it ain't just 7. It's more than that. You having an ongoing conversation with the Most High. How much more before you go to sleep? Before you enter into a realm. And think about this. When you sleep, you at the, you're vulnerable. Okay? You're at a rest. You're vulnerable. Like, anybody could break in the house, etc., etc. The Most High is protecting you, though. So we understand that. So you sleep and you pray, that He gets you through this, and no nightmares come, and you know what I'm saying. And to prevent nightmares, don't eat at least 3 hours before you go to sleep, right? And also watch them phones. Stay off them phones. At least an hour before you go to sleep. So, as the video said, because it's really a chew the meat, spit out the bones type video, but it's hitting on some points. You want to close them inputs, close them gates, right? And you want to end and start your day with prayer. So 7 times a day do I praise thee because of thy righteous judgments. Great peace have they which love thy law, and nothing shall offend them. Yahawah, I have hoped for thy salvation and done thy commandments. My soul hath kept thy testimonies, and I love them exceedingly. You want to start your day in love and end your day in love. Showing Him, thanking Him for the entire day, thanking Him for getting you through, being grateful that you made it through another one, and you're one step closer to the kingdom. All right? Let me see. I'm gonna let it go, but it's a point ahead that I really want to get.
And you breathe slowly in through the nose, filling the belly so your hands rise. Out through the nose, letting the belly fall. 5 minutes. That's it. But here's what makes this different from just breathe deeply before bed. On each inhale, you feel the warmth in your lower abdomen, but try to send it up your spine. I see you. I know. Hands on belly. This is the part that separates ancient.
And really, what you're doing is just acknowledging your body. You're acknowledging, you're really coming in and acknowledging Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi more. Okay? When you pray every single time, it's like you talking to Him. You coming before Him, showing honor, reverence, right? Humility, most definitely you're showing that. And you're praying, you're asking, and you're thanking, not just asking, So you're showing that love, sincere, righteous intentions. All right?
Alchemy from modern breathwork. After you've sealed the energy, you give it a direction. The Taoists wrote that Jing without intention is like water without a riverbed. It spreads everywhere and goes nowhere. The Egyptians said that Ka, vital energy, must be given a name before it can travel. Here is what you do. You ask yourself one question. What is the one thing I want to create? Not a list, not 5 goals, not I want to be rich and healthy and find my soulmate. One thing. The most important thing. The thing that, if it manifested, would change everything else. And you don't visualize it. This is important. Do not close your eyes and imagine a car or a house or a pile of money. That's not what this practice does. Instead, you feel what it would feel like to already have it in your body.
Booyah. And that goes into what? A ruling class mentality, man. You're manifesting, you're thinking upon the kingdom. You're thinking upon being in the kingdom. You knowing you're an Israelite, all right? You knowing, you know what I'm saying? You're doing the work, you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're living correctly and properly. So you're putting on the elect. You're putting on as the elect. You're making your call into the election sure. Right? You're working out your own salvation with fear and trembling. So you wanna process that in your mind and tell your body, hey man, we going back. We going to the kingdom, man. You know, we about to be in them chariots, man. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi coming soon. You gotta, cause the mind, you have to trick the mind. Okay? You gotta talk to the mind and let the mind know, and boom, 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 or the mind's gonna get overwhelmed, and the cortisol levels, the stress, the anxiety of the day, everything that you went through, that's gonna be running around your mind. And then that's gonna lead to a bad sleep, bad rest. Right? So you wanna wind down. Let's get a precept. You don't wanna concern yourself with everything that's going on in the world. Okay? This is 2 Timothy 2 and 4. No man that warreth entangleth himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who have chosen him to be a soldier. And if a man also strive for masteries, yet is he not crowned, except he strive lawfully. Right? So all the pressures, anxieties of the world, you gotta let that stuff go. You deal with that when you get to it, man. The job is gonna be there, the woman gonna be there, all the issues, the bills, all that type of stuff is there. It's not going away. Okay? If you lose a job, another one's gonna come. These type of things are gonna come. Yahawah Bahasham Yahawashi is gonna protect you and guide you and take care of you. Trust and believe that. Right? And you should wind down and thank him for that. Always. And for more. And try to envision, in a sense, you being there. Hey, I'm making it, man. Yahawah be of the elect. That's why it's going back to prayer. And you're thanking him for allowing this truth to resonate with you, giving you the opportunity. You got to thank him to let you serve. Right? And let a little bit more of this play, and then we'll wrap it up.
What does your chest feel like? What does your posture feel like? What does your face feel like? The muscles around your eyes, your jaw, your lips. You are not imagining a future. You are rehearsing a state of being. And you hold that state for 3 minutes. While your hands are still on your lower abdomen, while the warmth is still there. What you're doing, in scientific terms, is linking an emotional and somatic state to the period just before sleep. You are programming your subconscious mind with a specific instruction at the exact moment when your pineal gland is beginning to ramp up melatonin production. Neuroscience calls this the hypnagogic window, the transition zone between wakefulness and sleep. During this window, your brain waves shift from beta, active thinking, to alpha, relaxed awareness, to theta, deep subconscious access. Your brain becomes extraordinarily suggestible. Whatever emotional state you carry into that window gets encoded into your subconscious as a program that runs all night. Most people carry anxiety, worry, or the last thing they saw on their phone into this window. And then they wonder why they wake up tired and their life doesn't change. You are going to carry the feeling of what you want to create.
And that right there leads you to waking up in a better sense. You want to fall asleep in the spirit, man. You want to fall asleep talking and praying to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, and thanking him and being grateful. And you want to wake up grateful. All right. Now, adding to that, because he's going to talk about it later on, but going to sleep in complete, total darkness. All right. That helps for a better sleep. It helps for you to go into that, I believe it's a delta, region of sleep. Whereas the deepest form of sleep, it's like, it's going to be better for you. You're not going to wake up in the middle of the night or none of that. You're going to get those delta or the delta waves or something like that. All right. But it's a deep sleep. It's a profitable sleep. So you want to go to sleep in pitch black darkness. Your phone, turn it over or turn it off. Don't sleep beside your phone. You don't want the radiation to be messing you up. TV, turn it off. Don't fall asleep with the TV on. Like I said, like the video saying, all of that is you got to balance, man. Sleep is sleep. You want to, take a bath before. Get your body in a rest mode. Taking a hot bath, hot shower, whatever, lets your body know, hey, I'm relaxing down. It's time to sleep. Okay? I done found myself falling asleep in the bathtub, man. The bath is so good. Like, yo, when you wake up, just jump right in the bed, go right back to sleep. Okay, so you gotta once again, you gotta trick your mind. You gotta set up the mood. You can set a mood with a female. How much you gotta love yourself first. Okay, so it goes into that balance. You had a busy ass day. You did all of that. Well, you need a balance of peace and silence at night, right? And if your woman is a silent and loving woman, she gonna support this, and this is gonna be better for you. All right. So it's important to get in the best position to go to sleep, man. Your bed is your safe place. All right. That's where you go and you rest. You want to rest in peace. You don't want to bring work home, as they say. You know what I'm saying? Now going back to that complete darkness. If the TV got like a red light on it or something, unplug the TV. Whatever type of your charger got a light on it, you need all that light to be gone. LED is bad. Blue light from your phone is bad. All of that disrupts and messes up your sleep. And it stops the melatonin. You're getting more melatonin from what? From the sun being outside in the daytime. So you need to be in the sun. You need to be working and moving and at least get a walk or stay out in the sun for at least an hour. You know what I'm saying? But these are important. And this is a good way to set yourself up. And it goes into balance, man. All right. Hey, pray this lesson was edifying. I'm going to end it right there. Giving all praises, glory, and honor be to the Heavenly Father once again. Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Kakadash. And double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of the great millstone. Shalawam to the Lord's hopeful elect. As always, Kwam Yasharahla and Abad Baba. Shalawam, Shalawam.